Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks, the first ever episode of Beyond Bricks. So I'm doing something that's a little outside of my comfort zone today, which is I am going to talk to a camera. I am not going to talk to a person. I am used to talking to somebody, having a conversation. I'm a conversational human being. But today I'm going to do something a little different, and I'm going to try to talk into a camera and see what happens. See, guys, I have been thinking about doing this for too many years, way too many years. I've had things going through my head. I've had a ton of things in my life, things that have happened, both good, bad, great, terrible. I've had a lot of things happen in my life. But what I have not done a good job of is finding a way to openly and lovingly share that with other people. I don't know why. I think that maybe it's a little bit of fear. Maybe it's the fear of transparency. Maybe it's the fear of um, it not being good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. But it's probably a little bit of fear based. It's also a lot of bit of the fact that I'm a procrastinator. By nature, guys, I'm a procrastinator, but I am also very good at surrounding myself with amazing people. So recently, I've made a lot of changes in my life, and I have gone on this path of growth. I've decided that I'm no longer going to accept certain things in my life. I'm not going to accept mediocrity. I'm not going to accept complainers. I'm not going to accept people that are victims. I'm not going to accept just being average. I'm only going to accept great. I'm only going to accept being great. And part of me being great is finding a way to share greatness, finding a way to show greatness to those around me and share in the experiences that I have gone through in my life. So what is Beyond Bricks? What are we doing here? What's the point? Why am I doing this? Um, I've been trying to break that down here for a little while, and really it's come down to three main things. The first thing is, guys, it's just who I am. I believe that God has put certain talents and certain things in my life, and sharing is one of those. I love sharing experiences with other people. I love sitting and having conversations. I love growing relationships. I love building relationships. I love meeting new people. My wife says I could make a friend out of a doorstop. When I was a kid, I used to walk around and ask to take up people's trash at the restaurant. We would go to McDonald's after church, and I would ask if I could take people's trash up because I would get to talk to somebody. Also, I wanted to be a trash man. That was actually my childhood dream growing up, is I want to be a trash collector. I thought he was like the coolest guy on the planet. Once he brought me a Coke, it was a pretty cool experience. Um, but I've learned some of these things over the years that I want to be a good person. I want to be somebody that helps others. I want to be somebody that is willing and able to give it all away, that's willing to share in what I do. So ultimately, the first thing is that it brings me energy. It brings me joy because it's who I am. I've got to find ways in my life to expand my energy and continue to grow my energy. And what better way to do that than to grow it with other people and share with other people? The second thing is, I said it a second ago, I want to give it all away. Guys, I have been so blessed, again, so blessed to have some of the greatest relationships a guy could ask for, from everywhere from my loving wife all the way through to my family, to my father, to my mother, my sister, and not just my immediate family, but the family I choose. You're going to hear me say that a lot in this podcast. A lot of these people that I'm going to bring on here are going to be the family that I choose. And I have, over the years, been able to, for some reason, accumulate an incredible amount of relationships that have completely morphed and changed who I am, definitely for the better. And I want to bring that to you. I want to bring those people to you. I want to bring them into your world as well. I want to share with you the things that they have shared with me that have helped mold me and make me exactly who I am. I think it's very important. I think that's a huge part of my mission and my growth, and for what I want to do. And that brings me to the third thing. To me, this is a part of leaving a legacy. I have said my whole life that I want to do something that will change the world. My grandfather, when I was young, was sitting, my grandpa Jesse, and I sat in his wood shop and he made instruments. He retired. He was in construction. He retired and he would make instruments. And he made dulcimers. I have a couple of them hanging in my house. He made a mandolin, a guitar, and he was very into making instruments. I think a lot of my love for music comes from my grandfather. But one day I was sitting down and I was young, and I was sitting in his wood shop, and he he stopped and he looked right at me. He said, Kevin, you're different. And I was like, oh, Grandpa, what do you mean I'm different? He said, you're different. You know, you're not like everybody else, right? He said, you have a unique gift. You have the gift to impact people. You have the gift to make a difference in other people's lives. And if you do that, you could change the world. You're going to do that one day. Stared right at me. I'm like 8 years old. And he tells me I'm going to change the world. I'll never forget that my whole life. And it's made a lot of who I am. And it's put this spirit inside of me that there's no way I will ever be able to get out. I don't know how to not be that person anymore. And so now the reason I want to do this, podcasting is an incredible forum. I'm a big fan of podcasts. I love listening to them. I'm going to reference a lot of them over time, I'm sure, because I won't know how not to. I'm going to reference Ed Milet a ton. I will not apologize for that. I think he's amazing. I listen to every podcast he makes. He's super inspirational to me. I love the things that he says and how he says them. I would love one day maybe to get the opportunity to do one with him. Man, how cool would that be? Let's throw that out in the cyber world right now and say I'd love to do that one day. But I want to build a legacy. I want to build something that lasts beyond me. And goodness, what better forum than to put your thoughts down in a living, breathing journal that people can go back on and listen to and view and watch long after you're gone. That's a creation of legacy. That's a creation of doing something that's beyond you, that lasts beyond you. Because 2 or 3 generations after I'm gone, most anything I can build in this world may not last. But could some of my words, could some of my knowledge, could my experiences, if I can find a way to document all the things that I'm able to soak in this life and bring them to everybody else, not hold them in, not keep them for myself, not hold on to trade secrets, but to actually take those things and toss them out into the world and just see if they can help somebody else, see if they can do something for somebody else like they did for me. So let me give you a little bit of background on myself, because some people that may be watching this or listening are going, who is this dude in the pink hooded sweatshirt rambling on about legacy? So my name is Kevin Stewart. I'm a real estate broker, real estate agent by nature. I've been in the business 19 years. So blessed by this career. It fits, again, who I am. I get the ability to take care of people. I get the ability to look after them, to make sure they, help them through a difficult, tumultuous process that can be so stressful for people. But more than anything, I get to meet a lot of people. I get to know a lot of people, and I get to be a part of their lives. And so that's why it brings me so much energy. That's the beauty of this industry for me, is the people. I'm a people person. At my core, that's who I am. That's the core of who I am and who I always will be. Without people and without being surrounded by great people, man, I got nothing. I have no interest. Everything comes back to that. And so, that's the main part of my profession. I'm a real estate broker. I also do a lot of investments. I have a company that works inside the investment realm. So there'll be times in this show that we're going to talk about real estate investing. I'm going to bring some people onto the show that are very good at it, that I've learned an incredible amount of information from, and how that can be used. So at times we may talk about that. I'm an entrepreneur. At one of the threads of who I am is I'm an entrepreneurial spirit. So I'm going to bring on a lot of entrepreneurs. My network is filled with them, absolutely filled with them. People have built companies all over the place in all sorts of avenues that have done some amazing things. Some of the best strategic leaders I've ever met that I think are out there. Some people that, generally are not going to do something like this, but I think, well, at least I'm hoping, and I hope some of them get a chance to listen to this, are going to agree when I ask them to be a guest on here and share a little bit of their knowledge with you. Because I can tell you what they've taught me, but I would rather have them tell you what they've taught me, because that's the beauty of this, is sharing life. And then as well, I'm a family man. Guys, I love my family. My wife, she's sitting right there. It's a picture of her right there. My 2 beautiful kids, Jesse and Lily. Man, they're my world. I love those 2 children with everything I have. And past that, again, the family I choose. Guys, I truly believe that we have a chosen family in this life, and we think that it's just who you're born with, what family you're born into. No, it's not. It's the family you choose. I believe in the chosen family, and I'm going to bring on some of those chosen family, and I'm going to share them with you and share the experiences that they've taught me. So that's the nuts and bolts of who I am. But if I break it down a little bit deeper, what I want to be, and I think where my talents really lie, is I'm a connector of people. I'm a connector of relationships. I'm a developer of relationships. I'm somebody who can go through and build relationships with people at a high level. I believe in it wholly, and I really love doing it. And we got somebody walking into our office. This is the beauty of podcasts, is that you can be live on something and people can still walk into the office. Um, so, I really love, the idea of getting to share all this with you guys and getting ready to share this with everybody out there. But I want to make a couple things clear. This is super important to me. I want to make a couple things very clear. Number one, I am a huge work in progress. I'm a work in progress, guys. I am learning every single day. I'm someone who's trying to learn every day, because the reality is I'm broken. We all are. If we don't admit that we're broken, are we really being honest with ourselves? Are we really being true to who we are? Guys, I'm broken. I'm a broken human being. So I'm a work in progress. I am learning every single day, and I'm working every single day just like you are. And so, along the way, you're going to see transparency. You're going to see it. In fact, I'm going to promise you transparency. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to come on here some days and I'm going to do my best to be in the best mood possible. But there's some days where I may come and share a little bit of heartbreak. I may share a little bit of hurt. I may share a little bit of pain. But I think that's what the world needs. I think the world needs transparency. I think the world needs people who are real, that aren't just showing one thing and being another thing. I'm going to be as real as I can with you guys. I'm committed to learning. To me, learning is super important. I'm never going to stop doing it. I think if I stop learning and I stop working, that's the day I start dying. My other grandfather taught me that. He used to tell me that the day you stop working is the day you start dying. He worked pretty much all the way up until he passed away. He was in his 80s and coming into his 90s, and he was still driving people to doctor's appointments a couple days a week just to keep his body moving. How beautiful is that? How awesome is that, to have the will and desire to keep going every single day and push through every single day? I love that thought and I love that idea. Learned that from my grandfather. And I'm going to promise to give you everything I got. I'm going to promise to not hold back. I'm going to promise to give you all the thoughts that run through my head, to give you all of the things that I have, and to connect you to as many people as I can. So Beyond Bricks, what's the point of that name? So you see a brick wall behind me. I'm in Rochester, Michigan. That's where my office is located. I'm blessed to be in a beautiful office space, over 100 years old. The bricks behind me are over 100 years old. And I don't think it is a coincidence that I'm in a brick building. I don't think it's a coincidence that 100-year-old brick building is still standing. And the reason it's standing is because it has an incredible foundation. And we're going to talk a lot about foundation. I want to touch on foundation a little bit today, because foundation is what we're going to start with. Foundation is what we're going to start to build, because we need to build the foundation of who we are. And every single time we do this podcast, I'm going to challenge you guys. This isn't, if you're someone who just wants to listen, maybe wants to chuckle a little bit, there's some great podcasts out there where you're going to chuckle a lot more than listening to me. But if you want to get deep, you want to go and actually find a way to grow, this is the podcast for you. I think you're going to like this. I think you're going to enjoy this, because I am going to challenge you every single time I get on here. It's important for me. I'm committing to you that I'm going to challenge you. So what I'm going to challenge you today with is, let's talk about the foundation. Today, when I'm at the gym, this year, I've committed to working out a lot more. I decided that, part of having energy and part of not just talking about it, but being about it is being someone who's committed to my health. I'm 41 years old, and it's not getting any easier to stay in shape. In fact, it's getting a lot harder to stay in shape. I have to focus a lot more on what I eat, what I don't eat, what I put in my body, what I don't put in my body. And I have to focus on all of those things. And so, it's important for me to be very careful on those things, but working out is a big part of that. And so I started working out again. I'm loving it, loving every second of it. And the trainer at the gym this morning, so I'm doing bench press, right? And he was like, "Hey, Kevin, if you need a spot, let me know, come on over." And I was like, "Absolutely, that'd be great." And so I racked the bar, and I call over to him, and I was like, "Hey, Brandon, can you come over and spot me?" And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely." So he gets over the top of me, and he tossed something out there that that I loved. In fact, it was motivating, but it was reminding. So what he told me to do, he said, all right, feet down. He said, plant. He said, feet firmly, strong base. You got to have a strong base. Put your feet down. I'm on the bench press. You're not thinking feet down, but plant your feet hard. All right, set your shoulder blades, get your feet set, get your hands set. All right, now go ahead. And he said, lift strong. He said, now lock it in and go. What he was teaching me and what he was telling me, and he didn't even know he was doing this, is he was telling me to plant my foundation. He was telling me to put my foundation down. Because the reality is, if you're going to go lift something heavy and you're going to do something like that, you got to have a firm foundation. The brick wall behind me is not standing 100 years later unless it has an extremely strong foundation. This wall would be a complete and utter wreck without a firm foundation. So guys, what is your foundation? What's the foundation that you have in your life? Who's the foundation? What are you putting into your body that's, helping build that foundation? What are you putting into your mind? What are you putting into your ears? What are you putting into your soul? How are you feeding your mind, body, and your spirit? Because that's your foundation. Your mind, body, and your spirit is the foundation of who you are. And what you put in is what you're going to put out. That's just going to happen. So guys, what is your foundation? That's the question I'm going to ask. That's the challenge. And I want you to get real. I want you to get real with who you are. I've been challenging myself so heavily over the last year and a half to get extremely realistic about what I am and what I'm not, what I'm good at, what I'm bad at, what I'm great at, what I suck at. And I've had to find out a lot about myself, some things that I didn't like, some things that I had to admit that I weren't so awesome, some things that I had to work through that were not so awesome. But I found out a lot of things. I was real about some things, and I was able to say openly and honestly, man, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And you want to know what happened? Once I built that foundation, once I created some deep-rooted non-negotiables inside my life that I decided I was going to be. This is who I'm going to be. These are the non-negotiables of my life. Things changed. Like the flick of a light switch, things changed. My mindset changed. My attitude changed. Everything started to change because I decided to build a strong, stable, and rooted foundation. I wasn't going to let that foundation waver. And I decided at that moment that no matter what came along, it was going to have to point back to that. My next podcast, I'm going to go through those. I'm going to commit to you guys. I'm going to go through my 7 non-negotiables. Those are very important to me. They're the foundation, the basis of who I am. I'm going to explain to you guys what each of those are. But what I'm going to challenge you to do is, if you're listening to this, I want you to get real with who you are. I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to be honest with the person staring back at you in the mirror. Are you someone who sees the world as negative, who's always looking at the bad, who's always looking at the ugly, always feels like the world is out to get you, that it's trying to attack you? Do you feel that you're a victim? Do you feel that you are someone who just, no matter what, well, it's just not going to work for me, I just blah, blah, blah. Are you a victim? Or are you someone who's positive? Are you someone who's making someone's life better? Is your smile when you walk down the street affecting somebody, or you have your head down staring at your phone, not paying any attention? Which person are you? Are you the person that has your head up, that when someone walks by, you say, good afternoon, beautiful day outside, isn't it? Guys, it's almost 60 degrees in Michigan today. You know how weird that is? You know how fun it is to walk down the sidewalk right now in downtown Rochester, walking around just smiling and saying hi to people? Sun's out, beautiful day. Hope you have an awesome one. To me, that's being a great person. That's being the right kind of person. But it's my foundation. It's the foundation of who I want to be. And if I don't have a proper foundation, I don't think I'm able to put my head up like that. I don't think I'm able to give that person that smile, not with any level of authenticity. It's going to look fake and they're going to know it. But if I have a firm, deep-rooted foundation, I know that I can find a way to affect change in that person's life. I can make that person's day just a little bit better. And that's what I'm called to do. Guys, that's what you're called to do. So you're going to hear me say this a lot. It's going to be a running theme, but I'm going to talk a lot about being yourself. Guys, I'm going to be who I'm going to be. I said this a long time. I'm either loved or hated, but I'm never ignored. You're going to love me. You may hate me, but you're not going to ignore me. You're going to know who I am, but I'm going to be myself. I'm going to commit to be myself. When I was talking about the commitments to you guys, I'm going to commit to being myself and being authentic towards you, because that's what you should have. That's what you should get. That's what the world needs, guys. The world needs for us to be authentic. It needs for me to be authentic. For me to have the chance to fulfill the legacy that my grandfather put in my heart when I was 8 years old is I have to be that person. I have to be willing to help someone make someone's life better. If I'm not doing that, I'm completely wasting my time. And that's what I want to do. That's what I'm hoping to do. And that's what I'm blessed to have the chance to do this. I'm blessed to have an Adriana in my life who, when I tossed this idea out after listening to an Ed Mylett podcast about how he made his first podcast and forgot to record it, and just doing things, stop talking about it, just do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nobody listens? Oh, all right. Well, then I just, like I said, sitting here talking to myself. But what if one person listens? What if 10 people listen? What if 20 people listen? That's 20 people that may have got one thing out of this that made their life a little better. But I'm blessed to have an Adriana. I'm blessed to have her because you want to know what happened? I threw out that text to my team and she was like, let's go. I got this. I'll figure it out. I'll grab the microphone. I got all this. I got it figured out. 4 days later, we're recording our first podcast. That's being about it. That's not talking about it. That's being about it. That's deciding to do that. I have her in my life, and I'm blessed to have her in my life, and she is going to make me a better person every single day because I have her. I have somebody who's willing to do it with me, because guys, doing it alone isn't fun. Doing it alone stinks. I don't want to do anything in life alone ever again. I want nothing to do with it. And that's why I'm doing this. It's a big part of why I'm doing this, because I want the reach. I want to be involved in more people's lives. I want to be about more people's lives. I want to bring people into your life that are going to help make your life a beautiful and wonderful space. Because if I can affect you, then you can affect someone else. And then they can affect someone else. And that goes on and on and on and on. And now we've created something that's awesome. Now we've created something that creates positivity, because this world is absolute chock full of negative. And I don't know about you guys, but I am exhausted by negative. I'm absolutely exhausted by negative. I want positive. So this is my challenge. Before I go, this is my challenge for you today. I want you to get real with yourself. Look in the mirror, decide who you are, and decide, what is my foundation? What are the core key principles? What are the non-negotiables that I have in my life? And start writing them down. Start building your foundation, because anything else that we're going to go over in here, anything else that you're going to learn, anything else you're going to listen to, if you don't have your foundation right, it's not going to go anywhere. You got to plant your feet. You got to set your shoulders, and then you just got to go. You have to do it. You got to set your foundation in the ground. So guys, my challenge for you, go be yourself. Go be yourself today, because the world needs you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.